And that should work. Back to here. No, that's not it. 1 second. Where am I? Oh, I'm here. Let me stop. Let me stop sharing for a second, and we'll start again. I said stop sharing. Okay. Yes. Okay. We got anybody else coming in? No. We're with the 5 minute. Okay. Let me turn this off. 1 minute. Okay. So here are the minutes, and here is the sharing of the screen. Okay. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to review, as those of you who have been in our meetings, who've been on board until now, what I do is I try to keep good records of what I've done and make good plans of what I'm going to do. And when I say I mean root source, because I do most of the stuff, but we have, as you'll see, a lot of other people do stuff too. So tonight what we're going to be doing is reviewing what the finances. We're going to be reviewing the plans that we had for all of 2021, which we published in our 2020 annual report. And we will also be reviewing the what we actually did in the first quarter of 2021. Yes. And we will also review what I'm planning to do in the second quarter. And most importantly, we will add new members to our board, as we've discussed in the the advisors advisory board WhatsApp group. So before they do that, I would just like to point out that what we are, even though this is being recorded and it's live and you guys are here, and we actually do have two board members here on this call. We've got Al and Shelly, who are currently board members. Our other board members are my daughter Ellie and Anne, who might be on the second recording on Wednesday. And who is the fifth one? Come on, we got Revis, of course, Revis Daggett. So the way that the bylaws that we created and the board approved of were basically copied from other board bylaws that I found on the internet, and they of course were copied from somebody else, so that's the way this crazy world works. So little by little, I hope that I'll be able to upgrade those bylaws and make them a little bit more real world type. But the bottom line is that, and of course I did that a little bit. So the main bylaw is, and this we pointed out after Al said, hey, you really shouldn't run a meeting the way that you ran it because people weren't really there or whatever. So we came up with this thing that we found in the bylaws called an informal action. Only here it says informal, but actually it's an action. It says any action required to be taken or which is allowed to be taken may be taken without a meeting, if without prior notice even, if consented in writing or by electronic transmission, saying that it's affirmed by the board members. So basically what that means is that if I share with you, with the board, an idea of an action that I want to do, and they say, and each person writes, yes, that's okay, then that is officially okay. So that is really what we're doing in lieu of the meeting over here. We're reading through these plans, and the plans are to review all of the things that I showed you in the whatchamacallit, in the agenda, which I'm about to get to. And so if after we read through all of this and we've reviewed it all, you can say, great, I'm after the fact affirming that as a board member that the executive director can do that. Did I catch? Okay, thanks, Al, for nodding. Sydney, are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
Great, very good. Okay, so let's get going straight to the board meeting. Again, if anybody has any questions whatsoever while we're here, then just shout out, unmute yourselves or something, and we'll do it. Okay, so we're going to start with the review of the snapshot finances. The board shall review and approve balances tab of the following document. Let's open it. Sorry that I didn't get a chance to open this, but I'm going to quickly open everything else so that I won't have to spend some time every time. 1 second. There you go. This is actually open, but I'll open it again anyhow. And to add the book. Okay, so that's it. We will start with the snapshot of the finances. Moving this over. Hello. It's still loading and it's still working. Okay, but we can get started.
Hey,
Okay.
Gidon.
Yes, Al.
Bob says he is waiting in the waiting room.
Thank you for that. Let me stop sharing. Or here, this is what I got to do. Patients, admit Bob. That's fantastic. Okay, so we'll wait for Bob to come in. Let me stop sharing for a minute because for some reason, okay, here comes Bob. Oh, there's Bob. He's connecting to the audio. What's that text and phrase about audio? This is not your father's audio or rodeo or something like that. Yeah, Bob, you're not coming in. Do you hear? I can't hear us. I don't know why this is not working. This happened when it takes so long. Usually it's not going to end up working. So please tell him to maybe try to log in some other way.
Okay.
But that's very good. I'm going to I'm going to start sharing again and not be able to see him. If we hear him, good. If we not, then you'll tell me what's going on. Okay. Oops, wrong thing. Share screen. So once again, so I'm going to now show you where all of RootSource's money is. So the most important place it is in our Israeli Mizrahi bank. And there it is in dollars and in Israeli shekels. And right now there's $0 because I brought the money in from dollars and I transferred it immediately to shekels. And we have about 54,000 shekels, which is about 3.5 shekels to the dollar. So that comes out to about $16,000, which is not as much. It's not $100,000, but it's plenty for me to run the company. And again, this is really, we could have come up to zero because I was planning in the beginning of April, maybe the beginning of May, to bring in another $4,000 from America every quarter. No, another $16,000. The idea, as you might remember, is that RootSource Israel and RootSource America have a contract where each month, here comes Bob again. Let's hope this works this time. Each month for the executive directorship services, RootSource America pays RootSource Israel $4,000. That is the contract. And as a matter of fact, I might have even asked for another $1,000 or $2,000 extra, whatever. Bottom line is that we're barely going down. I mean, you can't see that over here. First of all, this is October, November, December. What happened? And what happened to January, February? I didn't put it in over here. No big deal. I'm only starting to do every quarter. But bottom line is that that's a lot of good money. And there's no American dollars there, which doesn't bother me. But PayPal Israel is where people who are still paying us for the membership and subscription from when we were still an Israeli company, and we still are. So they're still paying us. We're getting about $1,000 or $2,000 a month from there. So that's where we got another $3,000 in Israeli PayPal. We don't have an American PayPal. It didn't work out. Gumroad is another place where we get money for books that we sell. So, and a few other things, but whatever, it's not a lot of money. Payoneer is when we sell books, when the RootSource account of Amazon sells a book, then we get $5, $10, something like that. So we had about $300, but I passed it over to PayPal, I think, or maybe to the Israeli account. So now we're down to 0, which is fine. By the way, this is as of March 26th, which was, I think, a week and a half ago. Finally, the most important place that we have money is the two most important places we have money is Give Butter. As you remember, Give Butter is the platform where we raise 501c3 tax-deductible donations through. We recently had a campaign. You remember it was the symposium. It was quite successful. We raised $15,000. And it was at the last minute, and I sort of like was asking, I was prepared to ask forgiveness and not permission, because what happened? The foundation, our favorite foundation, the Nathaniel Foundation, I said let's do this, and let me request $9,000 from that foundation in order to do it. But they've only awarded me that about a month after I had to start planning this program. It was a complex program, as you remember. I had to get 12 speakers. Whatever, it was a big story. Anyway, it was very successful. And that's why we have about $17,000 waiting for us over there. And I'm soon going to, but I'm in no rush to transfer it, because I only make like a few pennies interest in the bank account. So it's not like I'm making a lot of money there. It's no big deal. But I'm going to get around to it. But in our American bank, we have $38,000. Now, I'd also like to point out that that $9,000 that the Nathaniel Foundation granted us for the symposium, they granted it to us. I think we got the check, I think March 30th or something like that. Shelly knows the checks go to Shelly. But it wasn't a check for $9,000 because I requested another $30,000 for general support. And they ended up giving me another $6,000. So 9 and 6 is 15. So that isn't anywhere. So altogether, if you count up all of this money, this 53,000 shekels, which is about $16,000, another 35, another one, It comes out in the accounts, we have about $60,000. Altogether, about $75,000 in March 26th, April 1st, 2021. I'm very pleased because, as you may or may not remember, at some point, I think back in September or in July or something like that, we had 86 shekels. That's how much money we had. So praise the Lord, as they say. Bob, you're here. I see your picture. I don't know if we can hear you. Yofi, Mitsuyan. Okay, I'd also like to point out another thing that I started counting last month or sometime. We have 126 unique Give Butter donors. That means 126 people have given us money through Give Butter. Some gave us $10. Some gave us $1,000. Some gave us multiple thousands of dollars. But these are people who are comfortable giving money through Give Butter, and that's an extremely important thing to notice. Because if I go to somebody and they say, give me money, they'll look into their pocket, see if they have any dollar bills, and they'll give me. But that is a very old-fashioned way of getting money. The new way of getting money, of course, is online, and this works very well. So I'm very excited about that. Okay, I don't have anything else to share with you over there, not how many subscribers we have and all that stuff, but that's much less important. I really only wanted to talk about the finances. Okay, any questions about that or comments? I'll take that as a no. Okay, so let's go back to the minutes. And we will say that
I'll give a comment, Gidon.
Thank you, Bob.
I like your praise the Lord a moment ago.
Yeah.
It's very, very appropriate.
Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Okay, review of the plans for 2021. At the end of 2020, I created a 2020 annual report in which where I showed how we did what I was hoping to do. I actually gave a link. I'm not going to open up the link of the 2019 report, but this is how we compared it. But here in the 2020 report, I wrote what I hope to do. What are our plans for 2021? So let's quickly go through that. Conclude the migration of our old site's lessons to our new site, make progress in other aspects, work on upgrading the audio and visual aspects of our courses, continue to publish and upgrade our letter, start recruiting new teachers, work towards localization. All of these things we're either have begun or are in the middle of or close to the end. None of this stuff is yet completed. Hire a Christian outreach marketing manager. Unfortunately, that is not unfortunately, I'm not ready to do that yet, but that has not even been started. Next year's Bridge Builders program, I haven't started that, but I sort of started it, but we're going to move it. The Nation's Ninth of Av will participate, Bezrat Hashem. I'm going to have a meeting with Al tomorrow to see how that's moving. The Conversations podcast, I sort of started it. It's not a podcast, it's 2 or 3 or 4 YouTube videos, but I hope to do that a little bit more. Do various joint ventures, publish 4 new titles in Root Source Press. We've done 1, and we're getting close to another 2 or 3 or 4. So there you go. We're building a robust donor list. We have 126 right now, as I just mentioned. Hopefully we'll get up to 1,000 by the end of the year, maybe. We'll see how much I focus on it. We'll also work more on foundations. And this is something very technical. Create Gumroad widgets for our courses. Again, the courses are not yet completely up, but we already have no. These will be Gumroad widgets, not Give Butter widgets. The Gumroad widgets is if people want to buy a certificate and a quiz of completion of a certain course. In other words, all of our courses are free. But if you want to get credit for them, then it'll cost you maybe $40 or something like that. So that is another model that we'll see what we're going to do. Probably welcome another grandchild or 2 into the family. I can already say that we're already working on that. My son is expecting his first son, daughter, whatever it's going to be. And there you go. So that is what we are planning for 2021. Give me a break, everybody. It's only the 4th month of a 12-month year. So the fact that I haven't completed anything is nothing to be too embarrassed about. So there we have just now reviewed the activities. I'm sorry, we reviewed the plans of 2021. Okay, and we will see how that compares to the report of actual activities that we've already done in Q1, the first quarter of 2021, which you just concluded, and especially what plans we expect to do in 2021 until the end of the year. So let us now review what we've already done, and that is here in a report that I just sent to First Melissa. First Melissa Church, First Melissa Baptist Church, I think it's called, is where my very, very good friends, Trey Graham is the pastor, and the executive pastor, I think he calls himself Tim Flannery, is also there. They work together. And of course, Shelly Jones here is a member of that church. It's in Melissa, where Shelly lives in McKinney, but not too far from there. Anyway, so they have been supporting Root Source as a ministry for the past year and a bit. And I think maybe they started in January. I don't remember. It took us a long time to get the money because we didn't have our bank account yet, but finally we got it. They gave us all the money from last year. They're giving about $100 a month, but I'm especially happy that they request that, that we provide them a report of our activities and impacts. So that gives me a chance to do that. And that is exactly what we've done since January 21st. I'm sorry, January 1st, 2021. So here we go. This is what we've done. Not necessarily what we plan to do, because some things get done without even planning to do it. So we began a process of adding directors to our executive board. Tonight's recorded session that we are participating in, I do believe that we have 4 people here. Let me stop sharing for a second. No, we have 5. Raquel was not in that thing. That's okay. So we have, here we are, 1 second. We have, besides me, we have 5 members. I am not a candidate for the board because I am the executive director, and it could be a conflict of interest, and I'd rather just stick out of that. So we have 2 members of the board who were founding members of the board, Shelly and Al, and we have 3 people, members of our advisory board, that if you guys want to, you can be members of the board. The membership of the board basically means participating in these board meetings once every quarter, or not. De facto, we need to have only 20% of the 40% of the board membership. So with 5 people, that means 2 people. One of them, we've got Al and Shelly, and as I mentioned, Revis and Ann, and my daughter Ellie, because I needed somebody to be the president. Nobody wanted to be the president, and Ellie was willing to be the president. We'll talk more about that when we get up to that. Okay. So Rabbi Steinsaltz, 1 second, let me share, pardon me. Root Source is excited. Let me make this a little bit bigger. 1 second. Good. Root Source is excited to partner with Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz Institute in publishing his works. Rabbi Steinsaltz of blessed memory was arguably the most important teacher of Jewish studies in the past 50 years. We are waiting patiently for the Steinsaltz Institute to go public with this important news. They've already agreed to it. They just have to say, okay, Gideon, you can publish the press release which you ghost wrote for us. And once we do that, we are going to add a Rabbi Steinsaltz. I've discussed this with you all, a Steinsaltz channel, and we're going to then be able to, first of all, have about a dozen or 2 dozen of his lessons. And we are, B'ezrat Hashem, going to be able to have a much easier time recruiting new teachers. So we ran this groundbreaking symposium with the Nathaniel Foundation. I don't remember when I came up with this idea. I think it was in February, and we had it in March. Something like that. I'm Israeli. I work fast. We have been making tremendous progress on updating and upgrading our website. We are close to hosting all 1,000 legacy videos and moving forward towards bringing thousands more. Moving toward to bring 1,000 more. Moving forward, whatever. Something I'll say orally is that we hired somebody to do the website, and we wanted to do it automatically. He came up with a great idea that will help us to upload new videos in the future. And this whole thing is costing us about $400, which is really amazing. Just amazing. He's an Israeli, and actually he's an Israeli believer. He's a Christian. I don't know if he's a Jewish Christian, or if he's just a Christian. But I got him from Wendy, who is also, you might remember Wendy Chaloun. She lives in Israel, and she is on our advisory board also. Okay, we reorganized our Philippine virtual assistants for much more efficient work. Last month, I hired the Filipino assistant who had done most of the work on the website, the beautiful website. And now she is our COO, our Chief Operational Executive, or Chief, maybe it's a COE, I don't remember. officer, chief operation officer. And basically I'm doing the same thing. I'm discussing what I have to do with her for 2 or 3 hours a day. And whatever she can download to other $3 or $4 or $5 an hour Filipino assistants, they'll be very happy to work for that kind of money, believe it or not. And the stuff will get done. For example, in our website, we have blog posts. What we need for our blog posts is what's called a featured image. So that when let me quickly show it to you over here. 1 second. Shnia. Blog. Let's see if I can get this over here. So if I go here, as you can see, this is a nice image, right? This is our 2021 report. This is a nice image for the report. This is a nice little image. All of these images are a little bit old, and these are basically this is a placeholder image. It has nothing to do with it. But this already, I think, is a new image. I told my assistants, for 1,000 blog posts, I need a blog post featured image. So I said, try to find some image that has something to do with it. These people, they barely know what Judaism is, but they figured something out. Here. So there you go. I don't know exactly what you got here. Okay, so it's not so good. It says Israel. I don't know. It's too small. Here's Bob Father's Pass, a picture of Bob. He probably got the whatever. Let's see what happens in the old ones. Are they all done already or not? Ah, you see, this is the old placeholder for the featured image. So we're going to get all of these placeholders replaced. That's about it. So I'm very excited. And so for 1,000 of those, how much would it, first of all, I wasn't getting to it. There's no way that I'm going to do all that grunt work. I can't do that. I just would go crazy. But these Filipinos love doing it. It took them, they're almost done with 1,000. Today I got this report. They got about 1,000 that they have to replace, and it's not, and it's a little bit of work. They gotta find, they gotta go in, they gotta replace, they gotta a little work. 30 hours of work, and they're all done between the two of them at $4 an hour. This whole project, $120. Nothing.
Can I hire them?
Yes, but only after the root source virtual assistant company gets organized, because I'm going to let you hire them for $8 an hour, and you're still going to be happy.
You don't. I can't tell you what I'm paying for my website for a virtual assistant here, but
right.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be able to eat lunch now after hearing this.
No, seriously though, we also are working on our website in one of my other organizations. So yeah, I'd be glad to get more information. And if it's the root source virtual assistant enterprise, okay, we'll talk.
The thing is too, is that when I'm doing this, except for the really technical part, I'm doing all the work. I'm writing everything. I'm finding the images.
You'll obviously have to.
I'm doing everything.
Okay, you're doing everything.
And I'm not paying myself a cent.
I know exactly. Listen, most of the content of much of the content of Root Source is me also, and I'm not paying myself beyond my salary. But
Yeah.
I told the Seder.
I have no salary. I mean,
okay, you're doing it as for what you want to do it for. That's the best thing. The best thing is to love what you're doing. That's all that counts. Labor of love.
But it is expensive.
All right.
I mean, you have to do it right.
That's
so
right.
You're very pleased with what they're doing, right, Gidon?
I'm astounded with them, and I'm giving them a financial bonus. $5 each. They'll be very happy with that.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you have any concern? Because this is a huge volume of work that they're giving you right now. Do you have any concern that they're not being fastidious about legal liabilities for you?
I told them very carefully, you must take it only from free to air, because I've been through that. Thank you very much. Said
I
you might
know.
remember.
Yes,
So
me too.
Burnt once, whatever they say. If you get burnt by hot water, then you're careful with warm water. That's an Israeli Hebrew phrase. Probably there's an American one also. And
But you
anyway,
feel confident, right?
yeah, Baruch Hashem. And my COO is a very, very smart cookie, and she checks their work every day. They've been working on it for a week. Every day she checks up on them. I'm very, very happy.
Great. Good news.
And that COO, her name is Joanna. I told her, go and find more people to work with us because I have other things that I need to do. And so if I'll have a dozen of these assistants that Joanna is vetting, then I'll be able to start hiring them out. And they'll be very happy to do that, to work through me. Because then they don't have to work directly only with a crazy client. You know how many clients they say, I'll pay you $100 and they disappear. The video, the whatchamacallits, the Filipino assistants, they're very afraid of that. Understandably. Anyway, so that's a great blessing to be able to. And these people, Janelle, one of my assistants who's doing this, she's 19 years old. Her family owns a guest house. For the past year, they've had no income. So she's making $4 an hour. Altogether, I think I paid her last month $200. And her whole family is eating because of this.
Wow.
Tremendous blessing. Tremendous blessing.
Good. Good news.
Okay. 501c3, we've moved forward in transferring our activities from Israeli company to our American NP, including finalizing the physical. Okay, we're done. We finished with that. There's still a few more things that are running through the Israeli company, but little by little, I'm moving it over. We have updated our GuideStar.org profile, meriting a bronze seal of transparency. You guys can all check that out. Why don't I open this up here? You'll see. We'll look at it in a minute. We made a presentation to a group of Orthodox Jews. That was very nice. We hope to upload it with English subtitles. We're hoping to, there was a time where this was moving forward fast, but now it looks like it's slowed down, to do a South African Bible quiz for Christians. And since maybe only Bob here barely knows that I had an idea to do an online Bible quiz for Christians before we started Root Source. So somehow this guy found out about it. Oh, here comes Darwin. The kids it's not clear who's running that show, and so it's not necessarily going to happen, but we'll see. Here comes some books, not necessarily in this order. So not in the order, as you know, Bob and I published 5 Years with Orthodox Jews. So that works out very well. We are now going, hopefully, I don't know if you all know this, we're going to publish a Dutch translation of the 40 Days of Repentance. Can't hear you, Sydney. Okay, just smiling.
I said that's great.
It certainly is great, and I'm very excited about it. And if it works, then we'll be able to translate maybe and the translators are doing it for free. They're paying me to publish.
I want to do my book in Hebrew.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be able to find you a volunteer translator, but we'll see.
Maybe.
One step at a time. Okay, and we're also publishing another book, and this guy, he's going to pay us $5,000 to publish his book. All right, and we also we're doing a lot of these Zooms in Jersey, South Africa, Philippines, Singapore, everywhere. And like I said, we've raised over $60,000 since January 2021. I think we can say already $75,000. Now, we interviewed a candidate for a position as a major gifts intern. Unfortunately, that fell through. I hope that I'll be, tonight I started working on getting another intern, and this is going to be so important, if I may. I don't want to hire somebody to be the major gifts officer because they're very expensive, and you have to hire them, and and maybe that's not going to work out, you know. It's basically like getting married to somebody on your first date almost without striking it out. So if I work with an intern, they won't take a lot of money. I'll give them maybe $1,000, a quarter, or whatever, or even not. We'll see. But I will teach them the way that I want these things to be run. Now I've already, so I'm very excited, and things will get done because we have these Filipino assistants to do the heavy lifting also. We're going to really move forward on this the way we got to do it. Okay, that's what we've done. Any questions? Sounds like no. Now here are the updated plans. I'm going to show it to you, not on this. Let's see if I'll show it to you here. Yeah, okay. These are what my plans are for the next quarter. It's 21 records. We got 37 minutes going. Just 1 second. Let me see that Darwin is here. Hi, Darwin. How are you?
How are you? Just want to make sure you can hear me. Can you hear me?
That's why I said hello, to make sure that I can hear you. We can hear you. We can't see you, though.
Okay, yes, I have my video turned off, but I do have my audio on.
Okay, so since you came in the middle, I will repeat quickly for you what we're planning on doing over here.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it took about 5 minutes for the 4 or 5 people who showed up at the beginning. So I'll tell it to you off by heart, orally, and it'll take hopefully 1 minute. Every quarter we hope to have, we try to have, and so far we've succeeded, a quarterly board meeting for the executive board, the board of directors of the American 501c3. And that's what we're in the middle of doing. What we did here is we reviewed our annual plans that we dreamt up in December 2020. And we also reviewed the finances. Thank God we have about $75,000 in the bank. This came up from about zero about 8 months ago. We also showed what we've done this quarter. And we are now about to show what we hope to do this upcoming quarter. So I think you came in the middle of what we have done in the past quarter. Are you able to see my screen,
Yes.
Darwin?
Yes.
If you have any questions or comments, by all means, please share them. Okay, I'm going to go back to sharing the screen now. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to move this over a little bit. Yeah, okay. So 9th of Av is what we hope to do this current month. I'm mostly a spectator on the project this year. As I said before, I'm going to have a call with Al tomorrow to see how I can help that move forward and what I can do with that. Blessing Teachers. Now, Bless Teachers is a fundraising campaign in order to bless our teachers. Now, again, I've got a lot of pieces of this jigsaw puzzle that until all the pieces are in place, we can't really display the jigsaw puzzle, if you know what I mean. So we really can't go live on any of these campaigns until we have everything in place, which hopefully we'll be able to get more of it this quarter, but maybe we'll get all of it. We'll see. 1 second. But thankfully, we have the Give Butter widgets up, and somebody decided to give $10 to one of our teachers. So that's a very good proof of concept. So we shall see. Bridge Builders, we will publish this book. That it wasn't even on the what we did this month because we haven't started, but hopefully this month we will finish it. We started to work on it, and that will be a yearbook, a who's who of last year's Bridge Builders, which I think most of you were, or certainly should have been. And if you aren't, even better, that means they'll have some Bridge Builders for next year. Okay. Christian Outreach Marketing Manager. I'm not sure. Let me quickly, not sure what it looks like. Oh, and here comes Raquel again. I guess she got kicked out. Luckily, that's working. I'm not sure what this will look at like, this Christian Outreach Marketing Officer. I think this should say officer, not other, whatever. But we'll hopefully get that moving. The content. I hope that Rivka will start managing veteran and new teachers, and I will start publishing my Zoom recordings as relevant. That's all we have to say there. Please interrupt me if I'm just reading this. So if you have anything else that you want to ask or say, then please interrupt me. Okay. This guy, David Hall, is the owner. I think it says it over here. Oh, it doesn't say it over here. He is the owner of about 80 pro-Israel Christian Facebook properties. And maybe he posts to 100,000 people a month. Like all of those 80 places have about 100,000 people, I guess. So I just met with him once for about an hour, but we have some connection and hopefully we'll be able to move forward on that. I just added that yesterday, I think. I'm quite excited about that. Okay, that's Facebook marketing. Foundations, it would be great to focus on it. Maybe I can hire Wendy, who has experience in doing that. Right now, we have one foundation that gives us money. A foundation is basically an organization that has to give away money. So they really want to give away money. They just have to know about us in order to give us that money. So hopefully that will work. I hope I'll get to that this month. And getting to know you conversations I mentioned before. Most of this is probably a little bit of copy and paste and updating from our plan. Legacy subscribers. Right now we have about 80 people who are still on PayPal. I hope to move them over to GiveButter. And then we'll have many more people who are giving us that. List 2020. We had some problems with our VAs, but I hope that we're going to start moving with this month. Do you all know what the List 2020 is? I'm getting a little tired. It's basically a publication of 1,000 anti-Semitic things that happened during the year of 2020. And we're going to publish it based on the template of the list, which was the 1,000 anti-Semitic things that happened for the first 2,000 years of the Common Era, or the first 1,999 years. And the list 2,000 will be the 1,000 that happened in 1 year. It's a little bit crazy to think of. Obviously, it's a spin because there were many, many more things that happened in 2,000 years, but we only published some of them. But I hope also to start marketing both of these books to libraries. These are books that libraries should have, right? It's a reference book. So I'm quite excited about that. Once I will have a VA, a Filipino virtual assistant, then we'll be able to start moving on that. Okay, Joanna has taken over the newsletter. We didn't do a newsletter for a month or two because Jebby, who had been doing the newsletter, finally said, I quit 2 months ago, goodbye. And I didn't get a chance yet to upgrade it, but now she's starting to move on that. Right now, we have no online events planned, but that never bothered me before. We'll have some. I don't know if we're going to do outreach to Torah groups. There are hundreds, maybe thousands of Torah groups like Sydney's in the United States. So it would be great if they would get to know us. I don't believe that I will get to this in the Q2, but it seems to be the best place to focus our marketing efforts on. This is a project that I'm working on with Dr. David Pitcher. I'm not going to go into it right now, but if we manage to submit a request and win a grant from the Nathaniel Foundation, that will be April 30th is when I have to submit that grant request. I think I'm going to request $120,000. And it's going to be something very exciting. but we'll see. Okay, we're almost done here. Small donations, we're getting them little by little, but hopefully we're going to have somebody to help me move that forward. Also, we are now selling some books, and hopefully we will sell more things if I manage to hire somebody who will be the store manager. And that will be something nice. Teacher payment. Okay, let's take a look at this. Small chance of this being ready this quarter, but probably will only be alpha tested with the first teachers and begin in earnest when we start doing outreach and in-reach campaigns. This is not the same thing as the Blessed Teachers, where people give a donation if they want. This is actually paying the teachers 50 cents for every video that somebody watches, and 25 cents for every video that it gets started, not completed. So I really hope to bless the teachers that way. And I hope that it will work and we will be able to afford it. And like I said, ultimately what we want to do is bring in more teachers, somewhat dependent on the Steingels project and also the website project. When these two things are presentable, this might be full speed ahead. There might be other things that'll be on. Okay, so that is the plan for this coming month. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen?
Did you
Anybody?
schedule sleep?
What about sleep?
Did you schedule any sleep for this coming month?
I scheduled sleep, but no eating.
Okay, that's all right then.
Okay, back to our minutes. We've updated the plans for Q2. You reviewed the Q2 plans. It's not updated plans, it's review the plans. I don't know why that says update. And now adding members of the board. So, Elon Pomerantz, as I've asked everybody who is on the WhatsApp group, which is here. Here's the WhatsApp group. Okay, Bob is waiting. It started. Thank you all very much. So as I've asked somewhere over here, anybody remember? Somewhere over here, I asked people to consider joining the board. Now, I really want to find that. Come on, Gidon, where are you? I don't even remember what this is. 1 minute. It's been a while since I came up with this idea, but it's nice to see this schmooze in here. Symposium. This is before the symposium. Before I had my mother's year commemoration. That was last month. When was that? I think we're getting there. Hope we're getting there. Come on. Here we are. So I'm going to read this to you. As you may have seen, I've been doing a lot of work recently with efforts to document that work. I'm grateful to all of you. We're talking now to non-executive board members. We're talking about advisory board members. I'm grateful to all of you for your input and even just for being around me to report on my successes. That's nice. It is also, I've been thinking about the idea that RootSource is, in fact, must be more than just a fun way for Gidon to earn a living. Officially, RootSource is a not-for-profit organization, 501c3, established for the advancement and benefit of society. Its directors do not own it, but steward it. Those directors represent all people who identify with our values and our mission and are motivated to help it succeed to achieve that mission through its programs. This, by the way, you could write about any well-run non-for-profit organization. What is our vision? RootSource envisions a world where Christians and Jews engage with each other as friends under God based on mutual respect and love. We exist to enable, encourage, and enrich those relationships. Our primary programs bring Jews and Christians together to study the texts, which are common roots of our faith. That is our vision. I'm grateful to Ann Al, Rebis, Shelly, and Ellie for helping me to establish Root Source. But I think now that we are beginning our financial year, that we really should open up the board to others who want to take their turn stewarding Root Source. Our bylaws state the board of directors shall consist of no less than 3 and no more than 20 members. So at first, before I turn elsewhere, I am offering and asking you, my advisors, to consider joining the board of directors. Afterwards, I will offer this to our wider circle of friends. Please pray about this. I look forward to hearing your comments. So, and for the people who are on this live program right now, I will say that Elon has already requested to be on the board. Now, I don't know if I have to tell you that this is very exciting for me, that Elon is interested in being on the board. One second. First of all, Elon is a successful businessman. Not necessarily in this order. He is Jewish. I didn't expect Jewish people to support Root Source so fast. And he's an Israeli also, which means that he's got chutzpah, which means that when I say please ask questions, he doesn't wait for me to ask please ask questions. He pushes them forward. And he seems to be a guy that's got a little time on his hands, and hopefully he's going to might actually do things also. So I'm very excited about that. Now, if there's anybody else on this board, on this meeting now, it looks like Bob had to step off. Maybe he heard that I was going to ask him to be on the board. I think that Bob says, listen, I put in my time. I was the board member for 7 years. Give me a sabbatical. But if any of the other 3 of you, Raquel, Darwin, and Sydney, would like to pray about or have already prayed about being a member of the board, if you have any questions now, then I'll be very happy to field them, of course.
Hey, Don.
Yes, Raquel.
Can we can you and I had planned to circle up on Thursday morning at 8 a.m. because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get on this meeting because of work. Could we talk about it on Thursday morning, you and I?
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Okay, then let's plan on that. Yes, sir.
Very much.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a quick question concerning the actual board position. I'm absolutely interested. Do you have any type of written description of what it's going to entail? Do you have any type of summary? Because that kind of would help me get a better understanding so there's not a miss of expectations. But also, this meeting was hard to get on for work as well. I was able to step away kind of halfway through, but I'm absolutely interested and 100% committed.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much, Darwin. The answer to your question, the job description of the founding board members were just to sign on the papers. Shelly did a lot more, but most people, I said, guys, I need 3 people, please, somebody. And then I needed a president and a secretary, and so I needed to get my daughter Ellie on because she was willing to be the president. And so I had very, very little requirements and expectations of the founders. That being said, I'm very glad to hear that you're asking for more commitment-wise job description. Like, what does it really entail? Again, I'm not willing to. I'm not keeping anybody locked up. But I'm happy for people to be on the board and just do basically nothing. That's also fine. But or almost nothing. But I would love more people to have more feeling of stewardship, and and I will write down for myself now, write, or maybe just discover, I might have it written down somewhere already. I probably do, actually, tell you the truth. Let me write myself a things to do, find or write a job description for root source exec board member. Okay. So I will look into that, Darwin.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Gudon, do you know, can you hear me?
Yes, very much.
Do you know offhand what the time commitment would be for a board position?
No, because I don't know exactly what the content commitment would be either. So you can ask any of the current members how much time they're putting in.
No,
They
no.
might-
I mean the time of fulfilling the board position. Like the board position will be for a year, for 2 years, whatever,
Oh, yeah. Right
Just
now,
speaking duration.
Right-
Yeah, the
right now
duration.
it's for a year.
for a year. Well, I can tell you for me, I'm interested, but I know 2021 is not my year.
Okay,
'Cause there's-
so we'll wait till
there's too much-
2022.
Yeah, there's too much in flux right now
Of course.
that I'm barely keeping my head above water, barely.
Okay, that's because you're not calling me enough and I would help you.
Oh, man.
Anyway,
Some of it
so
you can't help me with.
I
I
know,
wish
I
you
know.
could.
But I am helping. I'm praying for you, Sydney.
Thank you.
Praying
Well, and see, because I'm having to get my arms around everything in our life, right? As the power of attorney for everything. That's the biggest part. Then there's the book. There's so many things. But I feel like by the end of this year, I will be above water. Because
I'm praying for that. That's what I'm praying for.
That right now I'm having to make happen. By then, I should be rocking and rolling a lot better. So I would
Amen.
like to revisit it with you at the end of this year.
I don't have to write that down.
Okay.
I assure you that you will.
You know I'm good for my word. So
I certainly do.
my word to you is I'm interested. I feel like I just need the rest of this year to get my head above water.
Thank you very much. So the
Okay.
following people have expressed their desire to serve on the board. Upon a quorum of board members affirming their consent in writing to admit them, let me fix that, affirming their consent in writing below to admit them, they will officially become members of the board. So there's Elon Pomerantz. Darwin, we will talk. Maybe we'll set up yet another meeting somehow or something. And like I said, I will provide that job description. Anyway, any other further business, anybody? So as I wrote somewhere else, I think I wrote it in the invitation, you guys can already write down your, okay, the only people here who can sign are Al and Shelly. So let me, so this was when we were planning to have the meeting on April 7th. So what I would like y'all to do, I'm going to take this and move it over here, exit out over there, and move it into Ann. So all I'm going to ask y'all to do, Al and Shelly, and you don't have to do it today. You can wait until, as a matter of fact, I'm even asking you to wait until after next Wednesday, just in case anything changes significantly, which it probably will. First of all, right now, we've got Elon and John Smith. John Smith, if you haven't guessed, it's not somebody who didn't show up. It's a placeholder. So maybe maybe we will see Darwin Giles Jr. over there. Maybe we'll see some other people. Maybe we will see even Raquel also. She's asking to talk to me on Wednesday. So maybe I'll say, everybody slow down. Having a meeting with Wednesday. We can finalize this later, because it's just to say yes.
Mhm.
I read this. That's all it's saying. Okay. Mitsuyan. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Comments? Okay.
Good work, Gidon. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you very, 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 very much. I thank you all for supporting me.
Well, I do have one quick question, if possible.
Thank you, Darwin. Sure.
Oh, is it possible to create maybe a separate group for the board members? Because the actual group that we're on now within the WhatsApp somehow gets drowned out a lot of the more important communications.
Of course.
So it's a little bit of, as you kind of seen that when you stroll back up, it was a little hard finding what you were looking for. But I think if we had a more tailored group, for those who may be a little bit more serious about it, then I think we'll be able to kind of connect a little bit more and kind of tighten our communication.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Obviously, if we're going to do something more tachlis, as we say in Israeli, more serious of actually doing something. Now I have to say, Darwin, that I'm very excited that people there post, this the good thing happened and this not so good thing happened, because I'm very happy for my friends to be friends. That's the most important thing. But by all means, to focus more, then I'll be happy to do that as well. No question about it.
Thank you.
Okay, Shelly, you still there? Let's pretend she's just having some problems with the microphone.
I'm still here.
Okay, thank you guys. Okay, thanks a lot, Shelly. And we have exactly 1 hour. That's how much this took. Toda rabah, everybody.
Bye-bye.